Hello friends, welcome back to our YouTube channel Nasrin Padasali. So this video we are going to study about plant defense. Okay, this plant defense is again a continuation of your secondary metabolite topics, friends. So many questions every year will be asked from the plant defense topic. So all these notes I had taken from plant physiology from page number 302. I had taken these particular notes, friends. Okay. So plant defense, if you take human defense, if someone is triggering you, what you will do? There are two kind of persons. Someone will reflectly will end up with fight, whereas someone will move away from that particular place. So this is how humans will do. And animals also, if you have any kind of pets in your home, if we throw ball at them, they will simply move to another place. But think about plants. Can plants able to walk? No, it can't able to walk. Can plants able to fly? No, it can't able to fly. So we are going to see how plants have self-defense property against herbivore. So if you think what are the different sources by which plant will get attacked. First is your sheep and your grazing animals. Next is your bacteria attack. Next is your fungal attack. Next is your nematode. Next mites. Next insects. Next soil-borne insects. So these many defense are there. So how plants are defending. So already we discussed everything in the secondary metabolite. So this is an additional important thing. So there are various different plant defense arsenals are being produced, and they are protein containing compound, and they will interfere with the herbivore digestion. One such thing is your alpha amylase inhibitor. As they mentioned, they will block the action of the starch digestive enzyme alpha amylase. As a result, even though the herbivore is injecting the plant, they can't able to digest the plant material and they can able to uptake the nutrient. Instead, the plant material will be undigested. Next thing is your lectin. What does this lectin do? Lectins are called defensive protein and they will bind to carbohydrate or your carbohydrate containing protein molecule. Okay, so once being ingested by herbivore, lectin bind to epithelial cells of the digestive lining. So in the herbivore digestive system, epithelial lining, this lectins will bind and it will interfere with the nutrient absorption. Next is your proteinase inhibitor, which will have a proteolytic activity. It will lyse the protein molecule and they are having an anti-digestive protein. Okay, so let me share how a herbivore damage will trigger a signaling pathway in the plant material. So this is how systemic production of proteinase inhibitor is being produced. So we are studying about proteinase inhibitor and how this proteinase inhibitor is produced in plant. So first a plant get wounded, next prohistamine will be produced. Prohistamine is a 200 amino acid. Okay, 200 amino acid containing protein. Next, this prohistamine will be cleaved to form cysteamine, which is an 18 carbon amino acid. Okay, this cysteamine will be present in the apoplast, then they will translocate to phylum. Okay, and then this will bind to a plasma membrane and it will initiate a jasmonic acid pathway, and this jasmonic acid pathway will activate the gene for proteinase inhibitor. So here it will given the pathway of proposed signaling pathway for rapid induction of proteinase inhibitor biosynthesis in wounded plant. So first wounded plant is taken by herbivory and it will releases a cysteamine which is a polypeptide hormone. So once outside the cell, it will bind to a receptor molecule and this receptor will activate the lipase enzyme. As a result, your membrane lipids are produced, and in the membrane lipids your free linolenic acid will be produced, and from this free linolenic acid your jasmonic acid biosynthesis will begin and it will produce your jasmonic acid, and the jasmonic acid signaling pathway begin and it will activate the proteinase inhibitor gene. So this is how your proteinase inhibitors is being worked. Okay. So next thing is that some antimicrobial compounds will be synthesized before the attack of your pathogen itself. If the plant is growing, the herbivore is coming near to that, the plant will signal, don't eat me. If you eat me, you will get dead, like that. One such of compound is your saponins. Okay, this saponins, the role is that it will disrupt the fungal membrane by binding to the sterols. Sterols are long chain fatty acid present in the plasma membrane, and this saponins will disrupt the fungal membrane. Okay, this is one such mechanism of plant defense. Next thing is that infection induces additional antipathogen defenses. So it's just like your memory responses of your vaccine. So if a baby is vaccinated for a particular viruses, okay, vaccine, what is vaccine? It is a live form of a thing, live form of a disease causing organism which loses the potential in it. So it is a vaccine. So once a vaccine is given, the child will develop a immune response. So again, after 10 years of journey, if the child has encountered a real pathogen, then already the immune system is trained so that it will immediately provide a immune response against the infection. So just like that, your plants also have such kind of things, and it is called as your hypersensitive responses. Okay, so if it is a leaf of a plant and your beetles are affecting this plant, means the area affecting the surrounding plants, the cells surrounding plants will be die immediately, so that they are forming a ring of infection, so that rest of the plant parts will be saved. Okay, it's just like your war, during war and all, your in real life situation during war, how it will be happen, protecting few humans like that. Okay, so thereby preventing the pathogen spread, so that rest of plants will be affected. Some type of hypersensitivity response produce reactive oxygen species, so that superoxide ion, hydrogen peroxide and your hydroxyl ions are being produced, and these are produced by your NADPH dependent oxidase enzyme, and they are having its role in lipid peroxidation will be disrupted, your enzyme will be inactivated, and your nucleic acid will be degraded. So this is how this is the many modes of antipathogen defenses that are induced during the attack of your infections. Okay, so this is the various different modes how your thing will be done. Okay, so first thing is your cross-linking friends. So first we'll study about your enzyme cross-linking. Okay, so after the pathogen attack, certain proteins on the cell wall, like certain proline rich proteins on the cell wall will be cross-linked. So they cross-link means they will form a bed like infections. Okay, so this will strengthen the cell wall, and this will increase the resistance against the digestion by microorganisms. So this is one particular group of things. Okay, so another defensive thing is that your hydrolytic enzyme. Okay, so another defensive response to infection is the formation of your hydrolytic enzymes, which include your gluconases, chitinases and hydrolysases. Okay, so all these are hydrolytic enzymes. So if you take fungal cell wall is made up of chitin, so plant will produce a chitinases enzyme and it will degrade the chitin. As a result, your fungus will get degraded, or it won't live, it will get dead. Okay, so these hydrolytic enzymes are a group of protein that are associated with the pathogen infections, and these hydrolytic enzymes are called as pathogenesis related protein. Next is your phytotaxins, another group of protein. Okay, so these phytotoxins are an isoflavonoids or sesquiterpenes. Okay, so these are also having a mechanism of resistance to pathogens in a wide variety of plants. So if you take this as a bacteria, so it is having numerous elicitor in it. These brown color dots are elicitor. This elicitor may be a protein molecule or a peptide molecule or a steroid molecule or a polysaccharide molecule. This is the outside of cell, this is a cell wall, this is a plasma membrane, and this is a cytoplasm. So once this elicitor is taken in the cell wall, they will bind to the receptor. That is, receptor is a functional product of your R gene, that is resistant gene. Your elicitor will bind to the receptor. Okay, so this receptor is a leucine rich, and they are having a leucine rich, and they are repeated 7 times in the amino acid sequence, and this receptor will encode a ATP, GTP and protein kinase domain. Once the elicitor is bind, then signal cascade will begin and it will produce a resistance mechanism against infection. So this is a second type of infection mechanism. Third type of infection mechanism. So ion fluxes will change the membrane potential. So whenever this elicitor came in, your ion fluxes will be changing. Like there is an influx of excessive calcium ion and hydrogen ion, and the efflux of your potassium ion and your chloride ion. As a result, the membrane permeability will get changed. Okay, so this calcium ion influx will lead to a production of the oxidative burst. As a result, various pathway will get obstructed, so that your normal mechanism of your animal will be affected. So this is the second thing. Okay, and all this pathway, that is your ion flux change, receptor activation, your cross-linking will activate gene for hypersensitive responses, phytoalexin biosynthesis, lignin biosynthesis, salicylic acid biosynthesis and hydrolytic acid biosynthesis. Salicylic acid biosynthesis is involved in your systemic acute response. What is mean by systemic acute response? So there is a plant and there is an attack of infection of a pathogen to the plant, and that plant survives the infection. Means it will develop an increased resistance to the subsequent attack of the same mechanism. It's just like your vaccine concept. You put vaccine, which is a dead form of microorganism. Okay, so after few years, when the same microorganism is intaken out of our body, the memory response will be activated and it will produce a resistant mechanism. This is a systemic acute response, that is SR. Okay, and one of the endogenous signal is the salicylic acid. Okay, and also your methyl ester, methyl salicylate will act as a volatile systemic acute response in plants itself. So consider this, friends. So this is the initial pathogen infection may increase the resistance to future pathogen attack to the development of the systemic acute reference. So infections in one plant, there is an accumulation of your salicylic acid. As a result, the salicylic acid, that is a resistance, will be transmission of signal to other parts of plant via vascular system. As a result, there is an increased systemic response to the pathogen. Next is the synthesis and release of volatile methyl salicylate, so that there is an airborne transmission of signal to the other part of the plant and also neighboring plant. So if the upper part of the leaf is undergoing the systemic acute response, then there is an airborne transmission, and the lower part of the leaf will also get affected. So this is what I need to teach you about this plant's defense. So lectin is a defensive protein, and this R thing is the R gene is a thing called your resistant thing, and it is a leucine rich domain, and it is repeated 7 times in amino acid sequences, and there is an elicitor. Okay, and this elicitor may be a protein, peptide, sterols or polysaccharide fragment that are maybe that is present in the pathogen cell wall or any other thing. Okay, and also another thing, there should be there is an interaction between this A virulent genes of your pathogen. So pathogen will have a A virulent gene and your plant will have a resistant gene. The interaction will occur and it will result in a production of increased resistance to the infection. So this is with respect to plant defense. Thank you.